early days, we were more like into these draws where we were picking numbers.
Yeah.
And it was very handmade. So the most important part at this time was to trust the showmaster, to trust the person who is picking the number, that he is not cheating or your name.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Millionaire Podcast. I'm your host Maradona, and today we have a lottery expert with us, someone who knows the world of lotteries like no other. He's one of the only 3 lottery game designers in the world, Mr. Ralph C. Martin, with 30 years of experience in the industry. He is here with us to share insights about Millionaire, the only global green lottery in the world with its green initiative, Oasis Park. Welcome to today's episode, Mr. Ralph C. Martin.
Thank you, Maradona, for the introduction. Wonderful words you find for my very boring job, actually.
Oh no, it's very interesting, and to have that kind of experience, and you definitely are one of the rare few people who knows this world inside out.
Well, I obviously, I mean, I'm doing this for quite a while, and you learn doing this. Actually, any job, when you're doing this for such a long time, a lot of insights, and you know how to do it.
But
do
are
it
you
perfectly.
are you anytime afraid to share too much information, because sometimes people like to withhold certain information?
No, I think that this industry should be open and should be like very transparent to the people. So I mean, I love to talk about it, and I love to explain things, why things are especially how they are. Lotteries are different to gambling in general because
Yeah.
I always believe that lotteries is something good.
Mhm.
People, it's like like lotteries give the freedom of dreaming.
Correct.
When people get addicted to gambling, for example, I'm always afraid that they are spending too much money on these kind of things because it's entertainment, it's emotions, it's like you win a little bit but not much. And even so, if you're on a slot machine, it's really rare that you win like 1 million or 2 million. But with the lottery, I mean, if you look worldwide, for example, the industry is having like $10 million, $50 million, even the biggest lotteries in the world, like the Powerball in the US,
Wow.
they're exceeding the $1 billion once in a while. That's money nobody can even imagine to have.
And there's always a question that I've always been craving to ask: when you share so much information, and when you have people imitate our game design, what are your thoughts on about
Yeah, that's
even the show format or the
yeah.
numbers? Everyone tries to do the same. What?
No, I mean it looks from the outside when you have the lottery, like in place. I mean, it always looks easy. But I mean, when we start investigating, we are looking on the markets, we are looking on the demographics, we are looking on the household income, for example. Is there any competition? The people are used to these kind of things. So it's a lot of background work first, and then we come up with a system and a lottery, obviously. And it's at the end, if it's working, it's fun, and I believe we are doing a pretty good job, actually.
Yes. Coming back, the question for today: what is the evolution of draw machine, and how has it changed from mechanical draw machines to it being now digital?
Yeah, that's a it's a long journey.
Very long journey.
The lotteries started, as far as we know, with funding the Great Wall. So I mean, the Chinese invented the lotteries. At this time, it was more like a Keno
Okay.
game. So when we are looking at this, and we didn't
What's a
have
Keno game?
Keno, where you're picking like numbers and you can win.
Ah,
So it's kind of interesting because at this time we didn't have electricity, right?
okay.
So what we needed is like a different system. So when it started, in this case, they just picked numbers, right? They had like little balls with numbers in it, and they just started picking the balls. Later on, when it came to Europe, Belgium, for example, was one of the first countries having like lotteries, and then like Italy, Venice actually. It was more like a draw, right? It was, we are still in this industry. We are talking about two different types of lotteries. One is like the passive lottery,
Okay.
where you don't have to do anything but buying a ticket. So then you throw the ticket, let's say in a drum, and then somebody's picking, your name.
Okay.
So this is how it started, and that's what the lottery was before. And later on, it became to an active lottery, where the difference is you are picking now your numbers, and then somebody's picking numbers, and if the numbers match, then you win. This means jackpot can rise, like to basically without a limit, because you don't have a winner every time.
True.
In the passive lottery or a draw, you always have a winner. You pick a number, right? Or you pick a name, and then this one is the winner. Okay, so in the early days, we were more like into these draws where we were picking numbers.
Yeah.
And it was very handmade. So the most important part at this time was to trust the showmaster, to trust the person who is picking the number, that he is not cheating, or your name, whatever, like when you picked it. So that was like the very start. And I don't know how many people were like trying to manipulate the games, because know the guy who is picking your name or not.
Yeah. If it's mechanical, it's more possible.
Like small story, on the side, a lot of people believe that I can manipulate the games today. And they are coming and saying like, oh, you know what? we can share the jackpot. You are getting 50% or 70% or even 80%, if you're talking about 100 million dirhams, for example, in the jackpot with a millionaire, then 80% is obviously 80 million. And the person that is only keeping 20% still makes 20 million.
Yeah.
And that's more than he probably ever makes in his whole life.
True.
We are starting with these manual things where people were drawing this. And then later on, like in the 1900s, we started with mechanical machines. Starting with draw machines, and the drums where you can see the numbers, and nobody was touching it anymore. And the first machines were more like rubber balls.
Okay.
And so it was more like gravity taking out the balls.
Okay.
While today, we have later on, we had like these very, the light ping pong balls, where like an airstream was like circling the balls in the drum. So again, it's almost impossible to predict the numbers or to manipulate this. And everybody could see this, especially when TV started, to broadcast it. And so in a lot of countries, you see this still on TV. And if it's not on TV anymore, then you have like live streams.
Yeah.
Like again, Millionaire is doing this, which is really important, I believe, that people can see how it's done. And it's done by you. So you're pressing the button. This is like, I would say, like technology of the art right now.
Yeah.
And and then we are following up with the new technologies with computers, where we have so-called RNGs, random number generators. The draw is based on algorithms, and again, it's very random, but you don't see it anymore.
True. That's also one of the very interesting questions that people have written is like, I don't like the other lotteries that have just a digital number displayed on a screen. I like to have a mix of both mechanical and a digital machine.
Yeah, I understand the concern actually, because the people, they do not see it, and what you don't see, you don't believe, right?
True.
So it's really important that you see a live draw, and the balls, how it's falling out and rolling, like on the tray, and it's not manipulated in anyhow. And an RNG, you never know what the IT guys did, right? This is like That's the next step. I mean, and the future now,
Oh yeah, that's interesting.
the future probably is something, let's say, in between probably. And this is
In
like,
between.
yeah, so where,
Okay.
because what you can do is like obviously using AI, but like, for example, VR, like, can you imagine you having your glasses on, like, and you can turn around in the studio around, like move your head and you see like three, and so you move your head around and you see like the 3D version, and you almost have the feeling to touch the balls, things like that, in combination with blockchain. Blockchain makes it impossible uh, to change the outcome. So we have like new technologies to use. We have new technologies to make it more secure.
Yeah.
And I think this is something, I mean, that might come up. But the most important part is, I believe still in this physical live draw with a machine.
True.
Where you see the ball spinning around and somebody is hitting the button and the balls are coming out. Even if you don't hit the button, you can hit the button and then all 7 numbers are coming out, or 6 numbers or 5 numbers, whatever it is. At least you can experience it and feel it and see it.
Yeah. And are there any specific companies that design these machines? Where are these machines made? Where do they come from?
Yeah, there are a couple of companies actually. There is like a very big company, or a company that is providing, I think like 80 or 90% of the national lottery draw machines.
Oh, wow.
It's a US-based company, and that's where the draw machines from Millionaires are coming from, actually.
Oh wow, that's something even I didn't know.
And they improved over the years as well. I mean, the first machines were very, very simple, right?
Yeah.
And today, for example, these the balls can even have like, they have chips inside, so you don't even have to put. I mean, when the number is coming out, the computer already knows the same second which number, and it can be displayed. Again, it's a trust issue. I mean, I'm, as you said, 30 years in the business. So I believe that it's very important to trust these things. And I believe very mechanical, seeing it and seeing the ball. I love this. I mean, personally, this is like my personal issue, right?
Yeah. I like the sound of the balls when they roll.
For example, right? The
That's
sound is
pretty
good.
cool.
And it's very, I mean, there's nothing to hide. You can use like today, I mean, obviously, when we do this digital, I mean, the people are going to a payment system and they use their credit cards or other payment systems to buy it. They can even use different systems when they buy the vouchers in the shop.
Okay.
Somewhere you can even buy it like with cash.
Okay.
There's no need, for example, for cryptocurrencies. There's nothing to hide, right? I mean, if you win, and then you get your money to your account. Finish. So in crypto, a lot of people are coming to me when it comes to game design and say like, "Oh, can we have a cryptocurrency lottery?" And I'm like, "Yes, of course it is. I mean, it's not a problem. The problem is, do the people trust in it, and do they want to spend their crypto on a lottery? Or why not just using like whatever 25 dirhams cash?"
Perfect. And on that note, we also have another question by Anthony Cosmo Lopez is his ID. Suppose if you're giving the grand prize in installments and something happens to the receiver, what is the procedure?
Yeah, I feel so very sorry for the
We hope
winner.
nothing happens to the winner.
Yeah, please stay safe, stay healthy. So we had a podcast before actually, and we were talking about like what's happening, like if the company gets bankrupt, for example, like or disappears
or
from
shuts
the market,
down,
or shuts down, whatever reason it is. If you have a winner, I mean, then there is always like for the jackpots, there is most of the time a company behind it, like an insurance company that covering these amounts of money. So the same thing occurs here. You just move it on. You just put it on to the next person that is
Oh,
in command, let's say. I mean, so it could be like your wife, it could be your kids,
you could
what-
put like a nominee.
yes, yeah. Well, I mean, obviously, if something happens because of, let's say, an accident or some health issues, who is getting your house? And the same thing, the right on the lottery and the payout is going to basically in this pool, and it's not gone,
Yeah.
it's not finished. Whoever gets your assets is getting basically the right for the lottery payout. What's remaining? Maybe another 10 years is remaining.
Mhm.
The good thing is you had like 15 fun years,
Yeah.
hopefully successful years. But yeah, so the money is never gone. You receive it in full, or your family is receiving it in full.
Perfect. Very interesting to know. Thank you for answering these questions
You're
and
welcome.
taking us on a journey from the mechanical draw and now to a digital, and who knows what's the future. Thank you for sending us your questions. If you have any more of these, please write to us and stay tuned for another episode of the O Millionaire Podcast. Thank you, Mr. Ralph.
Thank you, Maradona, and looking forward to see you soon.
Yes.
So yeah, and again, you
Can't win if you don't play.
Thank you.